Here we go. Welcome to episode 120 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. This is your opportunity every week to grow, scale, and build your junk removal dream. So whether you're only first starting off or you're $10 million in business, this is your opportunity to learn from those around you that are living in the waste and recycling industry and what they're doing to make their best practices happen. I'm Andy Weins, and today I'm joined by Ronnie Knuckles. And as always, that is the extent of what I know about this guy. Ronnie Knuckles, welcome to the podcast. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. Why are you here?
I'm here for a number of reasons, man. So cool. First thing is I'm a junk removal guy by trade. Cool. I have a junk removal business in Louisville, Kentucky, Sergeant Junket. That business is still operating. I have moved into digital marketing, been a digital marketer for about 3 years. And have been following you guys and familiar with your brand, Camo Crew. And so anyway, I wanted to come on here and kind of talk about, what it is that I do and talk about some things that have worked for us and hopefully share some value with some people and help people grow.
I like it. Our marketing episodes, sales and marketing episodes tend to be some of our better episodes. We get more people are interested in. Like if people are going to jump episodes, that is what they like to jump to. Like they're going to watch selectively. We end up seeing higher numbers on Taylor's here. No, turn the camera a little. I want to sit right here. See, all right, we're there. There it is. Nice. All right, Taylor's adjusting the camera. Well, because my last show I did standing up, and then I sat down. I was like, I don't want to sit like this the whole time. So he already knows. He knew he had to come in here. He's like instead of using hand and arm singles, let's there's nothing whatever. That's how we operate around here. Anyways, the marketing episodes, when people are more selective with maybe onesie twosies, right? We have a really good solid base, about 250, 300 listeners that watch every week, no questions asked. And then we get about 500 downloads. I see with the marketing ones, those spiked like 600 or 700. So people that are more selective, or maybe they're doubling down, or may have more people on their team listen to. So generally speaking, the marketing episodes do well. And it makes sense. Marketing in the 6 buckets of business is the first bucket. So you go marketing, sales, operations, the thing you do, resources that are human, and then finally the numbers. And I love to spend all my time in the numbers. However, the market has spoken, and marketing and sales have a tendency to garner better episodes because we need the phone to ring, right? Like once the phone rings, people got a pretty good idea what they're going to do. All right, so let's talk about Sergeant Junket. That was the name, or is the name? Okay. I was in Louisville 3 weeks ago for.
Dude, I wish we had this episode before. We could have linked up.
We could have. I ate at a Korean barbecue joint.
What was it called?
I have no idea. Some
Rosario's maybe. Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Nice place. My buddy lives there in. Now I'm gonna forget the name of the place.
The downtown Louisville.
He lives on Speedy. It's like some nice neighborhood in Louisville. Anyways, I know he lives on Speedy Drives. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so you currently still own the junk removal company. What is your involvement in the junk removal company? Let's start there.
Well, I'm the owner of the company, but I'm pretty lightly involved. So actually in the room next to me is the operations manager. And so he's answering the phones and scheduling the jobs and going to do bids and, shaking babies and signing autographs, that kind of thing. But he is managing the team as well. So we've got a crew that's going out and doing the work. He fills in sometimes, like if a guy's out on vacation or sick or whatever, he kind of fills in the gap. But it took me a while to get to that. And just to be frank about it, man, I mean, I was working full time while I was running that junk removal business for the duration of its lifetime. And so I had structured it in a way, not that I recommend doing that because I think maybe to a certain point, but then eventually you need to just dive in or you're not going to make it. And
we've covered that several times. We've covered that several times. People are like, how do I run a company part-time? I was like, poorly. Next question.
Exactly. Like there's no other way to say it, dude. There's not, man.
I mean, I'm going to call a spade, right? I know that because for 7 years, I kind of sort of ran it was like 5 years. And then my brother took it over for a while, then I deployed. So it's like, yeah, for 5 years I fucked around, right? For 5 years I had this thing that was like the fourth priority or fifth priority given the day. And I made money doing it. I enjoyed doing it, and I didn't scale it for shit. Right. So, and again, I preface this for all of our listeners. I'm very consistent about this, right? I did not walk into a, 12 truck operation junk removal company, right? I didn't walk into, $400,000 the first year with I did all the bullshit and the excuses for years and the, side hustle. So for the people like, you can't just jump all in. I'm like, I know I didn't. And once I did, life was better. Like I'm telling you, don't wait 5 years. That's what I'm telling you. That's my message.
I wish, I look back and I think that a lot. I'm like, dude, if I just hadn't waited and dove in, I may have never gotten into what I'm doing now, but still, it would have worked out a hell of a lot better than it did. It took a long time. I had to bump my head and bleed a lot, learn some hard lessons. But I kind of got some lucky breaks, man. We got lucky, and I was able to plug my dad into the business, and he was able to kind of take over the operations for a while and allowed me to kind of figure out what worked and what didn't. And as far as having an operations leader. And, that eventually evolved into the marketing. I'd worked with marketing companies like everybody else, and a lot of them didn't provide results. And so I wanted to be the guy who came in and got results organically. I really believe in organic results. And I know that's, a lot of people like to debate that, but I think that organic marketing on the ground and then organic marketing online, I think are invaluable. I mean, I think those are the ways to really grow that brand long term. And so anyway, that's what we've evolved into. And that business is great. Like I said, it's not a huge money maker for me, but it provides jobs to the guys that work inside of that business. It's a good cash flow business. It pays for our building and, gym equipment and things like that. So I love the industry. The primary people that we serve are junk removal and dumpster rental clients. And so, once you kind of know the industry, you get your feet in the door and you understand the lingo and how to speak and work with people and help people. And we're very good at it, man. So, but yeah, you can't halfway do it or you're going to get halfway freaking results the whole time. So
shit in, shit out. Right. I mean, that's it.
100%.
I'm all about efficiency. The fact is you got to put the work in, figure out how to do it, and then make it efficient. When people go into it lazy, right, without actually figuring out how to do it right, efficiency is learning how to do it right with less steps, which is the opposite of lazy, which is doing less steps and then occasionally getting it right. That's what ends up happening. All right, so I get a grasp because I'm a numbers guy. How long ago? When did you start the junk? We'll get you caught up to the marketing. We'll get to that at some point.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So when did you start the junk removal company?
We started that business in 2018, November 2018.
Okay, and how long did you? How long were you employed and had that as like a side hustle?
Well, that was running. I started working for the marketing agency full time. Let me back up. It gets a little confusing. So I started that in 2018. Was working full time when I launched it. I was working for a large distribution company, and fast forward to like 2021, late 2021, we started the marketing agency. So now I've got two businesses running. And I'm working full time. I was going to manage.
You were full time that entire 3 plus years.
Correct.
You had a job, and then you had a couple guys doing the work, and you were picking up the phone, or they were picking up the phone.
I had my dad answering the phone. So long story short, he was a mechanic. He got cancer, got on disability, couldn't go back and turn wrenches, and he needed something to do, but he could only make like $1,000 a month or something. Like he couldn't make any money because then he would lose his disability, but he physically couldn't do anything. So I had him answering the phones and paid him a small salary. And so that freed me up to be able to go, okay, that business is fine. It's cash flowing. We're not losing, we're not hemorrhaging money. And I need to fix the marketing problem. And so I'm a veteran as well. I had some time left on my Voc rehab and went back, and it was stupid to use that on marketing because it changes every 6 months, but learned enough to be able to partner with the guy and got into the building websites and ranking websites and all that. But anyway, that was 2021. And then in 2023, I took the leap, early 2023 it's been about almost 2 years. left my full-time job, been doing the marketing agency. And so, yeah, I actually worked for a veteran nonprofit for a while as well as the COO, but, you know, had the freedom to kind of run this business and do that at the same time as office work. So, a lot happened in the last 6 years, kind of crammed a lot in there, starting 2 businesses and working full time. And I don't recommend that to anyone. And I'm hoping that by sharing some of the knowledge I've gained through that people don't have to learn those same hard lessons and deal with as many sleepless nights, because you're going to deal with some.
Yeah. And so now what's your situation? How big is the Junk Removal company now? Trucks, employees, whatever data you can share.
We're running 2 trucks. We get up to 4 employees during busy season. Sometimes we'll bring in some additional helpers. We have 2 that are consistent, 40 hours a week year round. And they'll, depending on the week, they'll split trucks and if there's enough for one guy to go do the work. But anyway, so that business is, we're doing $30K, $35K a month in revenue. Not running any ads. It's all organic online mostly and repeat. And then so the marketing agency, that is right now we're serving about 40 junk removal and dumpster rental clients around the country. We serve 1 client per service area, so it's not like I can double up in cities and stuff like that. But yeah, so between the 2 of them, we're doing well, and we wouldn't be. I go back to last year when I jumped into this full time. It was a complete leap of faith. We had 5 clients. I hadn't really built my brand, and I mean, people knew who I was because of junk removal, but they didn't know. It's weird when a junk removal guy jumps from junk removal to marketing, bro. You got to really prove yourself.
There's a lot of people. What do you call it? Lee over there with Junk Removal Authority.
Yeah,
I mean, JRA. He's probably one of the bigger ones. I can't remember if Blue. What the
Lewis?
hell am I thinking of? Lewis, was he in junk removal?
Yeah. I think he and a partner started a junk removal, but it still runs in Canada. Yep.
That's what I thought. Yeah, my guy Lewis.
Lewis. Good dude.
Yeah, we've had. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've interviewed a few people here. 120 episodes. We hit 120 episodes today, so we're doing something.
That's awesome.
Shout out listener. I don't know if we're supposed to shout out there. Well, no, right at the beginning of the podcast, Taylor's always like episode 120. I was like, all right, cool, we made it to 120. But the goal originally was 10. We'll do 10 episodes, and then it was 50, and then it was 100. And now the goal is to have fun and do episodes every week. And when it comes to a point, the day it's no longer fun, the day it turns into work is the day I'm not interested in continuing the journey. That's it. I mean, that's as simple as it is, right? This is a I want to do this, right? There's no need to do this. I want to do this podcast, and as soon as I no longer want to do the podcast, that I do this magical thing called not do the fucking thing, right? Like I stop. Well, and even like what you said, right? It's like you had a want to do junk removal, and then you had a want to do this marketing company. You didn't need to. You had a job, right? You had a job, and yet you chose to level up, right? Break through a ceiling, 10x your life, whatever mantra you want to go with. That's what you wanted. That's what you went with, and that's the message I'm habitually talking about here on the podcast. It's that when you stay where you're at, right, nothing changes when nothing changes. So for the people that want to stay with what they're doing, cool. Even with you, it's like, all right, 2 trucks, they're doing the thing. Cool. That's your level of success. Cash flows, pays for the building, pays for the gym equipment, puts a little cheddar in your pocket, provides a little stability potentially for when, you went from 5 clients to 40. Right. I'm sure at some point, right, some of the money you made, it was nice to have. Because you probably can't live on 5 clients.
You cannot do that.
Yeah.
I quit my job and I said,
yeah. Story checks out. Story checks out. 5 clients.
You were right, Andy.
So throwing it out there. Right.
Yeah.
So what suite of services do you guys offer on the marketing side now?
So we primarily focus on website design, obviously kind of being the base layer, kind of the foundation, because you're not going to market well online if you don't have a good foundation. We also do SEO, which is something that's up for debate in a lot of different markets. And then we do Google Business Profile Management, which used to be kind of like an add-on service, but we've brought our SEO and Google Business Profile service and combined the two. Because I believe that really ranking well organically means you're going to rank well in the maps and you're going to rank well in the organic sections, and they need to hold hands. And so we do that as a combo package now.
All right, so I have 2 questions I want to talk about. I want to talk. So you write it down, or Taylor, or someone remember for me. Thank you. So I want to talk about what that means, right? The Google My Business full suite of services, and like I'm asking because I know what I pay and I know what I do marketing wise. I know what's I track what's working and what's not working. Like Google LSA was fucking terrible. Google LSA did not work for us. We ran the play for 90 days. We also recently ran another marketing initiative. Ran it for. I always said you can tell it's a yes in 90 days. You cannot tell us a no in 90 or in under 90 days, right? You got to run it for 90 days because you got to see if anything. So we ran another marketing campaign for 120 days because after 90 there wasn't traction and it was a TV based. And after 120, I'm like, okay, still no traction, right? So we're not even getting that, right? The frequency, everything else, whatever. All right. Yeah. So SEO, search engine optimization.
Correct.
Someone the other day asked me, like, well, what does it even mean? And then I started answering it. And the more I talked, the less I knew. And so it's funny when you're like, it's like a thing, but it's not a thing. It's like, it's like Harry does. Right. Okay. This is how I explained it. We're going to start with what I explained. And then you're going to tell me what I've said that's accurate, what's inaccurate. And then what do I need to add? Okay. So this is my, so I have 3 steps to life. Some people may or may not know this, right? Redneck logic, hillbilly math, Kentucky windage.
I'm from Kentucky, so look at that.
There you go. So redneck in your military, what branch of service are you from?
I was in the Marine Corps.
Well, that's pretty close to being high speed. I should talk shit, but it's like, this is what I can't talk shit
about. You're an Army guy, I can already tell.
Oh, yeah. I joined the Army and got stuck in Iraq with fucking 3,500 Marines. 400 soldiers, 3,500 Marines. Also, this is what I know about the Marine Corps. They don't like when you call them Sarge. Not a fan.
Oh, it's not a thing.
Really? It's not the Army. Thing. Yeah, like in the Army, like, hey, what's up, Sarge? Right, and that's it. Sarge is good.
Yeah.
Marine Corps, not a fan.
You better enunciate, Sergeant.
You better fucking enunciate. And if there's a fucking rocker, there better be a staff in front of that sergeant.
Yeah, there better be.
Yeah. SAR is completely acceptable in the Army, right? SAR, that applies to like a third of the Army.
Yeah, I know.
Marine Corps,
not in the Marine Corps, dude.
Not one. No. I learned that. I was leaving the PX, so we had to go to the main side. We did the Marine Corps side for haircuts. That was our treat once a week. Go get a fucking haircut, $3.50. A Haji movie, $2, and a cup of green bean coffee, like $1.50.
Dude.
I mean, like $6-7. You were living
like a king, but
yeah. Anyways, there was a group of I was an E4 turd shitbag in Iraq, and I saw it with a couple 3-4 Marines. I was like, hey, what's up, Sar? Fucking lost his shit on me. I'm like, all right, dope. And I just like had my cup of coffee, and I'm like, all right, cool. Can you stop yelling at me now? Like he was
hey, bro.
Yeah, hey, bro. Hey, because again, SAR completely acceptable. And whatever. I dated a woman. She's like, "What are you even saying?" I was like, "Hey, what's up, man, SAR?" And she's like, "What is that word?" It's like, "Well, it's sergeant, but I'm not gonna take the time to say sergeant."
You're taking the time to say that unless you're in the Marine Corps. Maybe better.
Exactly. Gunnery sergeant, master guns.
Good morning,
anyhow.
Gunnery sergeant. Yeah, that's how it was, dude.
I
got ripped a few times.
Oh yeah, I can't fucking pronounce it. I can't spell it. We ain't fucking y'all got the fucking 3 chevrons. You're a SAR. That's just
should be.
That's how it is. And then I was in Gitmo for a year, and then I had to learn all the fucking ranks. So then I learned the naval ranks. Naval ranks are they're the weird.
Awful. They're all. I used to salute corpsmen all the time, and they'd be like,
I know. You're like, I don't know what that thing is. Why is it gold? Why do we have a?
Why are you wearing brass right now, dude?
Exactly.
E1.
Yeah. For our non-military listeners, you have no idea what the last 2 minutes was. Long story short, not all branches are the same. We will shit on each other until this happened to me a couple of years ago. I was at a bar and I'm a shit on this Air Force guy because when in Rome, right? That's like there's a pecking order. Marine Corps, right? Yeah, it goes Marine Corps, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Space Force. Space Force actually might be in the middle there somewhere. Because they're kind of cool. You're like, you're fine. You're whatever.
You shooting lasers? What are you doing? I don't
lasers,
know. It's cooler than what the Air Force is doing.
Okay. So fine. Well, we officially said the Space Force is above or below the Navy. Where are we going?
Yeah, I don't know. Navy's kind of cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, coolish.
Cool.
Yeah.
I did
F-18s are cool. We'll give them F-18s.
Hey, you know what? I was in Pensacola this weekend. Apparently, they have boats there and planes, like a shitload.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I went to the USS Alabama in Mobile because I was actually in Mobile, and then I went over to Pensacola. Dude. And I'm laying there on the fucking beach, and these planes in pairs are just fucking screaming. And then they had older naval planes because I didn't know this. It's already on the fucking map. The Naval Aviation Museum and like one of the biggest air bases for the naval air base is right there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, right next to the museum. The Alabama's awesome to go tour.
Alabama's dope. Like I was a kid in a candy store. I'm taking pictures. I'm like,
oh yeah, standing next to the mannequins and shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Like when I was like, what's there to do in Mobile? Oh, there's a battleship from World War II. Yeah, that's my fucking
cool one.
Yeah, 95 degrees. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then I went in the submarine. I was in the submarine. I mean, World War II era submarine for under 10 minutes. And I'm still semi-claustrophobic about it. I did not enjoy
the Japanese submarine they had outside.
Yeah, whatever that one was. Yeah.
I don't know how they lived in that, man.
No, I'm 6'4", 220. I didn't even like the battleship on the inside. The inside, I'm climbing through port doors. Right, I'm 88 Mike truck driver, baby. Death before dismount. I'm gonna sit in my truck. We'll cook in my truck before I fucking go kick in some doors like the Marine Corps, sit on a goddamn boat. The Navy. Yeah, the idea of being on a boat that I can't get off of, not happening.
Yeah,
and now you're gonna put it under
the time, dude.
No, and now you're gonna put it under the water. Not a chance. Not a chance. So what I see,
not even in a nuclear power sub. I don't even want to see one of those.
No, don't even want to. So that's the bitch of it. When I see guys in the Navy that have the submarine patch, I'm like, that guy's bigger balls than me. No doubt. Right? Like
either really cool or really weird. You know, it's one of the other.
Here's the deal. I ain't taking a chance. I'm not fucking with that guy. Right? That guy's lived in a steel tube beneath the waves. I don't have the balls for that.
Built up rage.
Yeah, so much rage, so much anger. All right. I didn't get. I didn't get it. I chose not to start explaining SEO. Okay, this is what I said the other day about SEO. This is what I said. All right, search engine optimization. It is about getting people to send backlinks to your website, which adds credibility. It's about having words or key search term often come up in your website and on multiple pages. So I use the example like I can say I serve all of Southeast Wisconsin. Or I can list all the individual communities when in communities or cities or villages, right? And I'm going to use the word junk removal as often as possible and mattress pickup and any other search terms. And I'm going to develop content in media so that more outlets go back to me. That's kind of my first point there. But like when I make content, I want people to hyperlink me so it shows that I have the most credibility in the industry. That's what I said. How accurate are those words?
You're pretty accurate. Maybe out of order a little bit, but accurate.
First of all, out of order? Have we fucking met?
There's an order to the madness, dude. Let me tell you.
Here's the deal. If you shoot the fucking 50-meter target first or last, it don't matter. Fast Freddy's down. Right? You fucking knock down targets.
You've shot it.
Yeah.
No, hey, look, I mean, you're right. So high quality content. Here's the thing I want to also say. This changes all the time. It changes on the micro level. On the macro level, it's always kind of the same. Google always kind of prefers the same things, but they might change how they prioritize rank factors, right? From one search engine. You there?
Yeah, I was playing around.
One search engine change. Sorry, disappeared on my screen. My bad. One search engine update to the next. So what they like right now is high quality on-page content. What I mean by that is kind of what you were talking about on the website. Are you talking about search terms that are related to the service that you're trying to offer? So, in your, I don't know exactly where you're located, but Wisconsin, I believe, right? So I know Milwaukee, so we'll use Milwaukee. So junk removal, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's 3 blocks that way. 3 blocks.
Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. So junk removal, Milwaukee would be one. That's going to be a high competitive keyword, right? I mean, it's going to take you time to rank for a junk removal, Milwaukee, no matter how, well built your website is or how well your backlinks are. but then you can look at some of the suburbs, right? So I don't know, junk removal. Is it a Greenfield, Wisconsin?
There's a Greenfield. Yep, there is a Greenfield.
So
Do
like
you
junk
serve?
removal.
Do you have a junk removal company you service here, or how do you know Wisconsin?
No, I've done research in the market before. I'm working with. We built a website for Wisdom Insurance Agency. He's out of
Tony Stubbs
Toby
in
Stubbs.
Pewaukee.
Yep. And so
I have a mixed relationship with old Toby.
Oh, do you?
Toby. Yeah, we don't need to go
there.
Yeah. I just interested. You know where Greenfield is? Yes, he's in Pewaukee.
Yeah, I've looked at a map a few times.
All right, good.
So I prefer to really rank our clients for some of these areas that maybe are only getting searched 50 times a month rather than 900, because I know that I can rank them well for a 50 times per month search term. We still want to target the high population areas, but we know it's going to take time. So we want to put these smaller areas in priority. So we want to talk about that in our blog posts and the content on the website itself. Then to your point, we want to backlink other websites that point back to that website and tell Google this is a highly trusted website, because these highly trusted websites trust this website, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. I'm tracking like I have my VCR.
So we go in and we do the research and we find these high quality backlinks, right? I like local backlinks if we're able to find them. So think like a local college that might offer some kind of employee discount. And so we'll reach out to that college on behalf of our client and say, we get approval from our clients first, obviously, but we'll say, hey, if we offer a 10% discount to school employees, can we get, something on the website linking back to our website? And so Google sees that. One, usually university sites get a lot of traffic. And so Google likes them because they get a lot of traffic. Two, it's local. So it's geographically relevant. I'm using this as one example. And then the same thing for like chambers of commerce. We'll build out chambers of commerce lists and send them to our clients and say, hey, you don't necessarily need to be active in the chamber, although I recommend it. But at the very least, you're going to get a very high powered backlink from that.
Yeah.
And then kind of the last thing in regard to SEO specifically is social content now. So social signals have a lot of pull on SEO. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of those things matter now. They used to not matter as much when Google acquired YouTube. The game kind of changed there. So uploading content onto YouTube, educational, or I'm not saying go out there and be one of these guys that tells people you're going to make $2,000 a day doing junk removal when you first start. But I am saying get on there and make some silly educational videos to your clients about what you do with items when you remove them or something like that, right? Because Google gathers that content. And so, yeah, man, I mean, it's more about consistency than it is about doing any one of these things in particular. It's kind of having a well-rounded game plan and doing it consistently. And some markets are different. Some you get pretty quick results. Others, it can take a while. And we try to be as upfront as we can, when we're educating our clients and say, like a dude in Milwaukee, I'm like, hey, bro, we might be able to rank for some of these suburbs within 4 to 6 months, but Milwaukee's going to take over a year, period, maybe 2. And so what can we do in the meantime to give you the most value and start making you money now?
So for most of our listeners, when you walk in, let's say they've done nothing, right? Or they had their website built a couple of years ago and they haven't done much maintenance. Mm-hmm. What are the lowest hanging fruit things that they can do, right? If they want to try to self-perform to get something going, like you said, make some YouTube content. Okay. A lot of people, that's like not going to happen, right? Necessarily. Mm-hmm. Maybe they will. I guess who the fuck am I to say? What else? What other things can they do? I mean, I thought about, because I used to make a lot of YouTube content on recycling, and I got away from it. It wasn't. I got away from it. It doesn't matter why I didn't. I no longer wanted to create that kind of content. The most of the content I create now is the podcast, and then I have my other show right before this at 15:30. I talk about words and language and leadership and that stuff, and that's the content I enjoy creating.
Sure. Yeah. And again, that's a recommendation. That's not going to make or break your SEO. I do think that it does propel things a little bit faster, mainly because Google owns YouTube and they like YouTube content. And now with AI, they can translate what you're saying and you're answering the question for Google quicker. But let me get back to the main question, which was, what can you do right now? So first thing is, I would say, I wouldn't put a ton of effort into it if you're built on a really crap platform. I think that crap platforms have their place and they are useful. What I mean by crap platform is GoDaddy, Squarespace, Wix is kind of, I'm torn. They used to really suck. They've gotten better, but they kind of, look, if it's me, they suck. If I'm keeping it real with myself, get away from them long term. I like WordPress. I like Duda. Those are the only two platforms I really recommend. Drupal is good if you're a junk king or a 1-800-GOT-JUNK. But that's not a necessary platform. That's very complex. You can rank well on a WordPress or a Duda platform. Okay. That's step one. So let's assume that you're listening and you make that change. You need to build content on the website. So you need to talk about, I do junk removal in Milwaukee, right? And you need to really dive into that. What does that look like? What's your process? Answer the question for Google. Okay, Google knows you do junk removal, but how do you do junk removal? Think of it like that.
Yep.
In that content, you also, you really need to have about 1,500 to 2,000 words on the homepage. Okay. Not on every page. Okay. 1,500 to 2,000 words. What you're doing there is answering that question in depth and getting a lot of command content. It all needs to be centered around the primary service. Okay. So on that homepage, you don't want to be, I don't care if you offer 15 services. On the homepage, you want to talk about junk removal primarily. You can spin off a little bit, maybe talk about commercial junk removal or residential junk removal, maybe trickle in some light demolition, but don't get off the rails and start talking about you do lawn beds and pressure washing. And, you do too much of that and Google's not going to know what you do. And so they're not going to give you priority. The next thing is you want to have multiple pages on the site. I recommend somewhere between 7 and 9 at a minimum. Okay. Typically, you want to have 2 to 3 service pages, 2 to 3 service area pages. You want to have a contact us page, obviously, that you want to funnel people to. And you need to have an about us page, 1 for the client, 2 for Google to understand that you're a real person and a real business. And so then you want to interlink all of those pages together. Homepage links to junk removal, which links to Milwaukee, which links to commercial junk removal. You see what I'm saying? Kind of this web of interlinking. Then you want to go and you want to have a blog page and you want to write a blog once or twice a month, somewhere between 800 and 1,500 characters. And you want to talk about your services. You can even talk about your service area. You can say why Milwaukee, Wisconsin is a great place to visit. You can leverage AI tools to help you create these, but you want to change the content up about 75%. You can use it as kind of an outline, right, to give you a base. And then go in and write it yourself. There's other things that you can use to humanize the content. I like just manually doing it.
Writing. When the human writes it, it humanizes it. Like that's
100%.
That's a good starting point.
A humanizing tool it's just going to sound like a different version of ChatGPT. Yeah. I like ChatGPT to be able to give you some framework and give you kind of some bullet points. But anyway, you can do all of those things on your own. When we're talking about YouTube, you can also, have a link on your website. If you have a YouTube channel, or if that's something you're thinking about doing, you can pop those videos right in. Now, don't have a whole page of YouTube videos, but maybe create one that really just describes your service and put that on the homepage. Google will crawl your site. They'll go to that video. They'll like it. It'll answer their question, and they'll give you a bit of a boost in priority. That's from the SEO side on the on-page website stuff, right? I'll add this. Your website needs to be a funnel. So you need to have call to actions somewhere at the top of the site, some in the middle, some at the bottom. I typically say on the homepage, you want a form at the top and a form at the bottom, and you want about 5 to 6 call to actions in between. What I mean by call to action is you want to have, you have a section about our process, right? Our junk removal process. You go steps 1, 2, 3. At the bottom of that, book now or call us now. And when they click that button, it calls you. And so you want to kind of, like I said, somewhere around 5 to 6 of those in the middle. Forms, people like forms these days. We've seen a lot of success with forms. So, anyway, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. And those are things you can do on your own, man. I mean, it's going to take work. All of it takes work.
Oh, life takes work, baby. That's one of the chapters of my book, right? Work is my favorite 4-letter word. It all takes work. And no, I have, we have 2 form fills. We have the, whatever the one is, the Squarespace, not our website's not Squarespace, whatever. I don't.
You have a WordPress site, I think. Yeah, checked it out.
Yeah, we have WordPress, maybe whatever. It comes in, it's a form fill bullshit, right? But then we also use Jobber. We use their intake form, right? So it's sending you to Jobber. However, it's branded as Camo Crew. There you go. Getjobber.com/Camo Crew junk removal for your There it is.
Love
For
job.
all your lovely junk removal jobber needs. Here's the deal. They don't really, I mean, they don't pay me to say it. I get a kickback, right? When people sign up, they use a link. So it's like
affiliate
what I'm
link.
saying. It's affiliate. Yeah. Which is nothing fancy. People are like, oh, you're a sponsor. No. I talk about Jobber because they gave me this sweet ass fucking Yeti when I did the Master Home Service podcast.
Dang, dude. I've been with
right?
Jobber
I
for
know.
5 years. I don't have a damn Yeti.
You got to get on the podcast. You got and this is my water intake. I need to drink 5 of these. It is 24 ounces. 5 of these a day is what I need to drink, and I'm on 1 like here, so 1.5 ish.
Don't wait till bedtime, dude. You'll be up all night.
But here's the deal: I can drink 37 cups of decaf coffee, no problems. That's what I drink all day. I have 1 cup of regular coffee 90 minutes after I wake up, and I sit here and drink decaf coffee, no problem. This is cold. I'm gonna finish drinking it. I don't give a shit.
Oh, that's rough, dude. I'm a caffeine only kind of guy. If I'm drinking it, I need to be jet fuel.
No, I got out off the caffeine kick 1.5 years ago. I changed it up. So I watched an Andrew Huberman video. It was January of 23, and it was talking about how when you drink caffeine before you're awake for 90 minutes, you either hit the afternoon crash or you end up just drinking caffeine all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a caffeine all day guy. So that first 30 days was fucking rough. So I started placeboing myself with decaf coffee. Like, hey, this is the real thing. Not.
Hey,
and now I have like 2 cups of decaf coffee before my regular one. Anyways, I got totally sidetracked. Decaf podcast jobber. Oh yeah, form fills. There we go. See,
form fills. I was lost too, dude. I'm glad you got back to it.
That was SEO, right? We had hyperlinks and fucking call to actions, and we got back to the homepage, right?
Yeah.
There we go. There's fucking. I'm learning something today.
What you can do yourself. That's where we were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, that's the other thing is when you do yourself. I agree. WordPress, and I've also met people that I think we had a GoDaddy at one point years ago, and then Squarespace and some of the other ones. Everyone I've talked to that's legit says WordPress is that's the thing. It's simple enough to use, and it's not garbage, whatever it is. So fine, WordPress, they don't sponsor me. That's what we use. And then our form fill, which is our contact us, goes to form fill, while your request a quote goes to the jobber link. Either way, we are getting more form fills now than ever, and it's simple because when I bought a book this week on Amazon, I didn't have to do shit other than tell which address I wanted to ship it to. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what people want, dude.
Yeah. Like because you reduce all the frictions. Everybody has all their shit saved in their phone, right? They probably have their Apple Pay or Google Pay on there. Like, cool. I need this couch gone. I don't care. Like, when can you be here? Like, I don't need to have a conversation to tell you that I need a couch gone.
Yeah.
All right. And I don't want to tell you my address or my phone number over the phone when all I have to do is hit 2 buttons, autofill, and you have it all.
Yeah. And then you can text me or give me a call and we're done.
Yeah. You can do it at 2:00 in the morning. Now I'm fucking yawning. We're talking about caffeine. Drink a little bit of water. Now I'm fucking yawning.
I'd share this one with you if I could pass it through the camera, buddy.
Technology's not there yet.
All right. Hey, Elon's here, man. You never know.
We might get there. All right. So you serve 40 junk removal and or dumpster companies.
Mm-hmm.
What are some trends you're seeing nationwide when it comes to, do you also do Google AdWords or everything is
No, we just do organic. So look, first I want to say, like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with Google ads either. And I think there's some guys that I know and that you'll probably find in the groups on social media, if that's where you're looking, that are good. I mean, do your due diligence because there's also some sketchy bastards out there.
Oh yeah.
But if anybody needs a recommendation, they're interested in ads, I'd be happy to share that with some people that I think are worth it. But anyway, I think they have a time and place. I think that a lot of people get caught in the ads hamster wheel. That's what happened to me. I mean, dude, I was spending crazy money on ads, and really all I was doing was just making money to pay for the ads. I mean, it was crazy. And so LSA, what you were saying earlier, was a huge flop. Worked good for maybe 2 weeks and then just flopped on its face.
Yes. Yeah, that's accurate for us too.
Yeah, and so we don't do any of that in the agency. I think that people, if they're going to invest money into their digital presence, I think that they ought to own the asset that they're investing into, and that their website ought to drive in its own leads, and they should own that asset that they've been putting money into, right? So no, we don't We don't do any kind of AdWords. What I'm seeing across the country, I'll tell you this, there was a slowdown. There was a search engine change maybe like March of last year. And things really got weird for a while. So like we had a lot of clients who were top 3 organically, top 3 of the maps. That happened and they were all over the place. I had some shoot up to 1, some drop down to like 8 to the second page.
Ooh.
It was super weird, man. And so like, we're scrambling because it makes us look like we don't know what the hell we're doing. And so we're just trying to figure out what Google is prioritizing. What I see right now, and again, this could be different for other marketers depending on what they're doing. But for our process and what we do, Google really, really likes good on-page content right now. So Google is really prioritizing websites that have a good user experience, meaning so it's easy to navigate, it's easy to read, they don't have weird fonts and strange backgrounds, and they answer those questions well. So websites that have FAQs somewhere on the homepage that really answer the questions in detail, and websites that have good blog posts. So like, I used to say blog posts don't really matter for SEO right out of the, like, it's just kind of a piece of it, but I think that Google's prioritizing them right now. Clients that we have where we're posting blog posts regularly, we're seeing them climb a little bit faster. We beta test from time to time too. So we might like write 2 blog posts for this client and 1 for this one and see which one is moving up faster, just to see if we have similar markets. Google's prioritizing on-page activity, and used to be you could get away with a lot of backlinks. So like you could go pay a dude on Fiverr and you could get a lot of backlink if they were semi-decent, right?
Yeah.
And you could jump in the ranking. Well, now Google's penalizing you for that. And they only care about if you come in with anything other than high quality backlinks, it might do more damage actually. Than just kind of be null. Used to be if you had a low quality backlink, it wouldn't really matter. Now they're actually going out and penalizing you for spammy backlinks. As far as like what the industry is doing around the country, we had a weird July was slow, I think, for a lot of people around the country, man. I don't know. I can't speak to why. I think economically as a country, we're struggling a little bit, and maybe there was some of that, kids going back to school later in the month. But August has seemed to open up a little bit. All of our clients everywhere, north, south, east, west, everybody seems to be doing pretty well right now. And so my hope is that September, October makes up for the lack of what happened in July. I'm not sure what's going on. The benefit of having clients around the country, though, is I can get to see kind of the trends of what's happening around the country. So did that answer your question, by the way?
Yeah, no, and anecdotally, it's consistent. It's interesting, you kind of got towards that and the other. Yeah, anecdotally, it's consistent with what I've also heard from other guys in the field. Is that exactly what you're saying? Is that July was a rough month for a lot of people, and now things are a little bit better. And that's why, like, when I ask, like, hey, what do you see in trends? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I want to know a answer, right? So I'm like, all right, what is this? What does this mean? Like. Hell, I pulled my numbers up. It's like our season peaked in May. We saw some fall off in June and July with typically what we end up seeing is May a few years May has been our peak. So that's not unusual. May was our peak. However, the last 2 years May was not our peak. Right? Yeah. So 19 May was our peak. I cannot recall 2020 and 2021 because I was out of the industry. But 22 and 23, we kind of arced. May was like the beginning of the high point, right? But we fell May to June and June to July. We fell. August, we're back up. Our good friend Russ Berry.
Oh, Russ.
Economy sucked. Inflation, election year, and people are scared. No more free COVID money. Never be concerned with Russ telling it how it is.
He ain't wrong, dude.
He ain't wrong. And then he said a Google keyword search should be able to show you that search volume is just not there. Yeah, actually, we get that every month. We get our report every month, and yes, the search volume for junk removal was down at 11%.
Yep. July. I was talking with a client about that. He was like, "Dude, we're in the top 3. We've never been. What's going on?" And I'm like, "People have to be searching for the service, dude. I mean, if they start searching, they're going to find you. But the problem is, I can't make them search." And no, I think Russ is. I mean, to be honest, I've never been one of the guys to like blame the economy on how bad my business is. But to be honest, right now, I think we're in a spot where COVID was a different story. That was crazy. But compare what we're dealing with right now, I think this is probably the worst I've seen it, in the 6 years I've been in business. Election year. And I'm just saying that from looking at it from a 30,000 foot view.
No, yeah. This again, there's no agenda here. We talk market. I appreciate hearing this because, hey, let's be real, right? There was a spike. Here's the other thing. I have not seen a lot of these fucking fly-by-nighters that got in the last 2-3 years. I have rarely seen any of them new ones this year, and I've seen and I haven't seen the other ones I saw a few times last summer. Again, anecdotal, right? It's not money ain't falling from the sky like it was in 21 and 22 as much.
Right. I don't have any hard data to back up exactly what I'm saying, but to your point, it's all anecdotal, and it's what I'm seeing around the country. I do have the benefit of looking at and seeing it from California, to freaking Baltimore. It's very similar what's happening. So, but yeah, man, I think we're going to turn around. I'm glad that things have picked up in August. I hope that trend continues on up through Thanksgiving. But time will tell with the election getting here in November.
Yeah, no, it is. No, and that's why I know, hey, you're a marketing guy, and yet you got 40 locations you're looking at, and you got 40 business owners you talk to, right? And for the guys that are listening to the podcast that might feel, hey, this is bad, this is that. No, it's like, well, hold on, like we're feeling this across the board. I was talking to Casey in one of these episodes, I don't know, a year ago. I was like, hey, there's going to be people like and I said this last time this year. I want to say, I said, hey, for the next 18 months from last summer until the election is over, there's going to be some attrition because it peaked last year, and for those places like here in Wisconsin, right, we got another 3 months we got to add on after the election because it ain't but April till the snow stops flying where things actually pick up. I'll say that's interesting. Yeah, go ahead. Oh no, Taylor put up a thing. He said, "Thoughts on what you think about Google is trying to figure out." With nearly 60% of Google searches end without a click in 2024 on the search engine land. That's interesting. So that means 60% of the time people search, they're not even clicking on something. Maybe that has something to do with AI. I don't know.
Could, yeah.
Because they have those AI answers,
Yeah. What I'll say.
What does Russ Berry got to say? In my area, Got Junk has pulled Google guaranteed. That's the LSA. Had to buy extra zip codes the clients talk to, and most junk franchise saying same thing. It's down. Most franchise down 20-30%. Now add on franchise fees, and most of them are struggling bad. Diversification is the key. Thank you, Russ. But we gotta have Russ back on the show. Russ, Taylor, you guys connect. Let's get Russ Berry back on the show. It's a lot better to hear Russ from the horse's mouth. I want to hear how Florida's working. We got to talk about it. We got a lot, Russ. We got a lot to talk about. Where I'm talking vicariously through Russ. He's texting. He's open texting. Yeah, I was so I applied for an award recently, and I had to qualify what I'm doing for the industry. Well, there we go. Look at this. Shout out Russ Berry. Fucking, I love Ronnie. He's very intelligent. You know what? Russ with the old rare compliment Russ. I think that's what they call him in the drunken mobile circles. I
think Russ likes people that keep it real, and as a marketer,
that's why him and I get along well. Every time I reach him, I'm like, get him. I don't when people bitch, he's the first one to like tell you why you suck, right? And like,
that's why I love him.
Like that's it.
No frills.
Clearly, I know the guy. I was gonna say something. Oh, yeah. So I was writing up this award I applied for. And it was like, hey, what do you do as an industry leader? And I was like, well, I have a podcast and recently ranked the #1 junk removal podcast. And also, I don't think I've talked about this yet. I'm in the top 10 podcasters in the country. Some stat came out, right? And what it comes down to, though, is this podcast here is an open forum, right? Like I think last episode was like, hey, we're talking to Ronnie Knuckles. Looks like he's in marketing or something. So tune in next week. Like that was the extent of my, right? When I say I'm going to have people on the show, I'm going to have them on the show. And the goal is add some value to the industry. So the fact you're bringing this up, it's like, hey, let's talk about the economics of the junk removal industry. And let's not just sit here and bitch. Oh, it's down. All right, it's down 20%, down 30%. What's happening? Russ Berry, he's talking to people. He's got a pulse on on what's going on out there. And when the 800 got junks of the world are doing something, that ought to tell you something.
Well, I'll tell you, it was all over the groups and stuff on social media. But here locally, their local franchise was stealing all of the yard signs from one of my competitors. Did you see all that?
Yeah. They plastered their garage doors with them.
In their garage, yeah, in their like headquarters, they had stolen yard signs. It's like a shrine.
We had we hired a couple of guys from. Here's what's interesting in our market. We've picked up 4 guys from 800 guy junk this summer, so I know they're hurting. They're losing guys, and one of our guys said they would pay 2 guys to drive around all day, 1 day a week, and pick up yard signs.
That's what they were saying down here.
Yeah. So again, hey, all is fair in love and war. You know, like I don't like. It doesn't bother me when people are I'm butthurt. I also don't put out yard signs. I think they're tacky. Yeah. They don't work in my area. You know, we've tried them. They have not historically worked in our area. Like we have yard signs. We use them at golf outings, And if we're on a job for multiple days, we'll put them outside the job. Occasionally, we'll leave them with customers. The last thing I want to do is, you know, hey, I'm going to clean your house out. I'm going to leave some, stuff behind that you don't want.
Some plastic in your yard.
Yeah. I sanitize myself by saying, shit, look at me. I'm fucking adulting over here, not dropping.
Look at you. Yeah.
I know.
I talk to a Marine, you start talking right, bro. That's what it is.
When were you in?
I got out in 2013. So.
When did you get in then?
2009.
Did you go overseas and all?
Yeah, I was in Afghanistan twice.
How was that?
It was interesting, dude. It was, I'll tell you, I was with the Rocket Artillery Unit. So it was kind of I'd like to describe it as like the best of both worlds. So I was, we were in it. We were in the fight. We were shooting rockets every day. We were getting to see what we were doing. I was talking to, I was a radio operator. So I got to talk to everybody on the ground and figure out what they were dealing with and then watch our rockets impact and take out bad dudes. And, but I wasn't having to get shot at every day either, so it was kind of like
win-win.
Yeah. I'm 30 miles from all the heat, but I get to actually have an impact and kill a lot of bad guys. So that was, it was cool, man. It was, I loved being deployed. I hated main side Marine Corps, dude. I hated being in formation, making sure my uniform was tight. I hated all that. Loved deployments though. I loved it.
So I had the complete opposite experience of you. First, I'm a reservist. So I'm either deployed or I'm on the couch. Right. Yep. So that's great. So yeah, garrison army ought not to fit me well. Like that does not sound like what I want to do with my life. Yeah. And then the flip side is I had the opposite. I drove a fuel tanker in Iraq. So I was very close to the fight.
Oh yeah.
Seen IEDs go off, got hit by an IED. And
a fuel tanker, no less.
Right. Yeah. And I had no ability to fire back because there was nothing to shoot at. Because it's in the middle of the night and an IED goes off, there's nothing to shoot at.
Even if it was daytime, there might not be.
Exactly, right? Yeah, when we ran day missions towards the end of our deployment, still got hit by IEDs, still didn't have anything to shoot at. So yeah, complete opposite of you, which was we're just playing cat and mouse all night. And the Marine Corps monitor our area. They had sniper teams out there and they were eliminating targets and doing fucking high-speed shit. And we were delivering fuel to Fallujah and Ramadi. And
406.
I was there in when the hell was I? Yeah, I was there in 6 and 7. I think when I was there. Yeah, so I was there at the end of the Battle of Fallujah. So 6 and 7, I was there. During the during the surge. It was during the surge, and then right before they put everybody on 15-month orders. Yeah, so there we go. I did.
It's interesting, man. For us, it was like. We had eyes in the sky, so we could see everything at nighttime and watch it and know what was. We were competing with snipers a lot. They got a sniper team on site. And we're like, well, hurry up and get our launchers in place. We got to beat these snipers out for this mission.
Yeah. So it was who gets to eliminate the enemy first?
Yeah.
Who gets
exactly. So yeah, I mean, I think we had talked about something earlier about the Google search.
Yeah. We see this way. You need to take notes. It was like a half hour ago.
I did take a little note, but it's
what is your Google My Business profile thing you do?
So Google Business Profile, man. So first of all, everybody, if you're a business owner and you don't know what a Google Business Profile is, you need to reconsider what you're doing right now. You should have done the research and known what that was before you decided to jump in. Get a Google Business Profile if you don't have one. Essentially, when you make a search, you search for Truck Removal Milwaukee, since that's been my favorite one today. You get usually ads at the top, sometimes LSA, sometimes not, depending on the market. Then you'll have, and now we're seeing organic listings actually list up over the maps in some markets. It's like the first two rank over the maps.
Yeah,
And
so
then
you're three paid, two organic, then the map, and then
not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
And then the map, 3-pack of the map. And then, of course, if you aren't in the top 3 on the first page, you go to page 2 to bury a dead body. Really, it's after the 4th listing. You're not going to be found there. So anyway, the map pack is the Google Business Profile. And so what we do and what we have found, we've tested this over time to figure out what works to get these profile listings to rank higher. First thing is, if you can have an address attached to that profile, you're going to get a priority, meaning you get a red dot on the map. The tricky part is, you used to be able to, you could use your house and Google would send you a postcard and you put the little numbers in and boom, you're good. They don't do that anymore. Now it's all video verification. So if you have a home address and you're okay with it being on the internet, don't ever change it, because as soon as you do, you will never get that back. It has to be a commercial address. I had a client had this issue. He went and rented like a $200 a month office the size of a closet, but it was worth the $200 a month because now he's got a map dot right in the middle of his downtown area.
Right. He needed a dot. Yeah. He knew where the dot
exactly
was.
For $200 a month, well worth it. Anyway, you're going to get priority with the map dot. And then you need to be posting updates on that profile consistently. When you're making these updates, you can use different links at the bottom. There's like a learn more and a book now and a call us and all that. Differentiate the types of links that you're using, and in the content that you're posting, use keywords. Junk removal Milwaukee. If you're looking for junk removal Milwaukee, call Camo Crew junk removal, right? That would be something you could use. Right. And so do that 2 to 3 times a week at a minimum. Some guys, they used to say do it 5 to 6 times a week. We actually found that if you do 2 1 week, 3 1 week, 1 1 week, 4 1 week, that's more effective than just doing 3 every week consistently. Google sees it as a more organic posting schedule.
Yep.
So record that little piece, write it down, whatever, and utilize that, differentiate it however you want to, but you want it to look organic to Google. They know you're a real business owner. And if they see that you post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m., it's not going to have as much weight as a guy who varies his postings.
Got it.
The next piece, make sure your descriptions are filled out properly. Make sure your services are all listed. And then reviews. Everybody talks about reviews. Well, I've got 500 reviews, but this dude with 30 is outranking me. Reviews are important and they're great, but Google cares more about how consistently you get those reviews than they care about how many you have, if that makes any sense. So a dude that gets 4 to 5 reviews a week is going to crush a dude that gets 100 1 week and none for another 6 months.
Yep.
And so try to think of it that way. Come up with a process and system to get yourself some. We always recommend texting when you get to the job and texting before you leave and asking the customer in their face, can you please leave a review? Assuming that you didn't screw that job up, asking them to leave you a review. So that way you get kind of 2 touch points there. But anyway, Google Business Profile Management, it's simple. And anybody can do this themselves. But part of our services, we do it for you.
Yeah. The thing is with business and marketing, business is not so complicated, and especially this business, junk removal, where people cannot figure out for themselves. I also know for me, I have no desire to do marketing. Right when I look at the 6 buckets of business, it's a bottom 3 for me. My business partner, our integrator, our company, it's a bottom 3 for him. So for both of us, neither one of us have a desire to do marketing. Can I figure it out? Yeah, I probably can. Do I have a desire? No. Right? I'm obsessed with operations, sales, the numbers. Like I'm all about that. Right? So my whole thing is lean in on what your strengths are and to hire out for what they're not, right? I guess, we'll get to the big finish right now. Here's my top takeaway, right? The more I listen to marketing, the more I'm like, yeah, that is a good idea. That is a good idea. That is a good idea. And I also know that I have a third-party marketing company for a reason. Like I'm going to verify they're doing these things. I'm going to give them some, tips and tricks. And my recommendation of people is when you're not already doing it, there's nothing in you like organically wanting to do it, right? With you, like you did junk removal, then you organically were like, oh, I want to get into more of the marketing shit, right? Like for me, that sounds miserable. And yet you, that's what you gravitated towards. Fine, good. And my push to all the junk removal companies, the listeners here, right? You'll become the ceiling to your organization when you do not hire out people smarter than you in certain areas, right? Like I'm the ceiling when it comes to numbers. Right, I know my numbers pretty fucking well, and it's a high fucking ceiling, right? I'm good with that. No, like, and I keep pushing the ceiling up. I keep elevating my game.
Right.
When it comes to marketing, we would have crap marketing had I been the ceiling. So
Yeah.
I recognize my strengths and I hire out those. So I highly recommend getting a marketing person. What I like about you is you're not all things to all people. You're not even doing AdWords. Like, you're tight on what your offer is. You're tight who your customer is. A lot of marketing companies we've had on this show and people I met, they're like, oh, well, we can do anything for everybody. It's like, well, that's stupid. So I appreciate that you're tight in your service offering, right? What you do and who you serve is nice and tight so people can easily understand it and then buy from you. And have faith that you are going to be the expert because you're limited on your services and who you offer it to.
Yeah. And it gives us an advantage.
Yeah. And Russ Berry fucking says he loves you and you're intelligent. So, like, the raging endorsement, I'll put it back up there. Raging endorsement from Russ Berry, who we know and love from Facebook groups. And his weekend retreats. Ronnie, top takeaway from today.
Well, for me, it's really anytime. One of the reasons that I really like marketing, and I feel like I didn't have the opportunities. And look, I'm not speaking bad about junk removal, but marketing has opened up a door for me to be able to provide value, and because I love it and I'm really engaged in it. And so my top takeaway is that I had an opportunity to come in and share value, and I appreciate the opportunity. And I got to kick it with you and meet you, and I got a freaking thumbs up from Russ. Shit, I'm gonna go home and take a bubble bath tonight. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, we take W's. We take W's all day, baby. All right, well, there we go. Look at that. We are 1,700 on the head. We've made mission go fishing. Here we go. Episode 120 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast is the part where I got a filibuster because I did not open up my other screen to figure out what the hell we got going on coming up next. I know we have a guest next week. I do not remember who it is. Do we have a guest next week? Yes, we do have a great. Oh my God. There we go. All right. It's coming up next week. Grant Graveneur, guy's last name who I've never been able to pronounce. Grant from Venice Junk, longtime listener, longtime commentator, first time guest. You know him, you love him. Grant, we may or may not get anything done, but we are going to have a good time doing it. I've been wanting to hang out with that guy because this is often the I talk and then he texts and then I talk. And anyways,
Grant's a good dude. Yeah, I've talked to him a bunch.
Actually, I think about this now. I never finished my story about Titan. The whole thing I was talking about with the Titan application, that was the application I applied for, about the industry, is the fact that we have this forum wherein anybody and everybody can participate. It's one thing to have guests, like, hey, I'll let anybody guest. Let's have a conversation. Also, we want people interacting, right? We want to see what you have to say. We want to celebrate the Russ Berries and the Grant Graveneurs of the world, right? Because that's fucking interesting. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. Like, I'm fucking full
I've never even tried, dude. I just call him Grant. You know what I'm saying?
Every time I ask him, like, he spells it out. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fuck that up. I don't yeah, got a chance. Anyways, Grant's coming up next. Next week, we're going to have a great time. Episode 120 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. On behalf of Taylor, our producer, Ronnie, our guest, I'm Andy Weins. We will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Tap subscribe or follow to get the latest episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a review and tell a friend to listen. To learn more, visit trashtalkbusinesspodcast.com. Bye now.